The new season is here, and we are very nearly through the first game week of the new campaign. There's been a couple of untoward results, which you always expect on the opening weekend. The big teams, they've won, and apart from that, there's been refereeing decisions making the headlines. So nothing's really changed, has it? Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are well. Josh is on holiday, but Sean is here, of course. How are you, mate? You've had your holiday like me. Josh is slacking a little bit.
Yeah, but first day back at work today, mate. It was a bit of a brutal one for a first day back, but survived it. And the rain managed to just hold out. It's just started.
Exactly. I hope you are well, and everyone joining us live as well. Usual suspect, hope you well. Although it's only the first weekend in the Premier League, the standard refereeing seems to be as bad as it's ever been. We're not going to be able to talk about that too much this week. We'll come on to that more, and we'll talk about it together next week when we've got a little bit more time. But yeah, there's been changes, threshold raises, as they've called it, on getting involved in terms of VAR. But yeah, look, it is what it is. Plenty of things have changed. There's been new players, there's been new managers, but one thing hasn't changed. Manchester United nicking a late winner. We always knew that was going to happen, didn't we? Some young lad that no one's ever heard of comes on and makes his dream debut at Old Trafford. Honestly, apart from Duran scoring against West Ham, that was the most obvious thing that was ever going to happen in the weekend of football. Manchester United won full and new. It seems like a long time ago, Sean, but chat to us about that.
Yeah, it was very similar. It was very similar to a lot of the results and games we've seen since Ten Hag's been there, really, hasn't it? I see a lot of United fans are going overboard again this year, thinking they're going to do something. Some have even suggested they're going to get in a title race. I don't personally see where that's coming from. I think they've bulked out the squad. They've improved it in certain areas. They've stuck to their old strategy of signing names and players that Ten Hag knows. So they're sort of. I'm not at the moment. I'm not seeing a great deal, which is any different. Which is obviously probably cost them last year. Obviously, on a Friday, I don't actually like that. I know people want to watch games on TV, but Friday night to Monday, an opening night weekend of the season, that's not for me personally. But there you go. But being first up, they'd be just over the moon to get it over the line. But I wouldn't go mad expecting too much from them. Didn't see Fulham do a great deal, to be honest, either. But it was, like I said, it's just a standard Ten Hag Man United win. 2 seasons ago, he pulled off more often than not. Last season, he couldn't. So I think Casemiro played quite well, which he didn't last year. It could make a slight difference. I'm not criticising the player, but another thing to note, Kobe Mainoo was taken off on the 84th minute. They got the winner on the 86th. That pattern I told you about was going
through. What are you inferring, Sean, about one of your favourite players?
I mentioned it a fair few times during the Euros, and people might think he plays well, but maybe holds the team back in other areas because the facts are there that all through the Euros we got late goals, got through extra time when he was off, and United did it again the other night. So maybe it's just you can't always have too many players like that. Like I might be wrong, but Casemiro and Mainoo, Rice and Mainoo. Do you know what I mean? Similar sort of thing going on. Don't know. Maybe you just need a bit more to get wins.
There we go. Then we go into Saturday lunchtime, the big moment for the Tractor Boys. I saw a really nice intro that a commentator did where it said the Tractor Boys are back with the Lambos and Maseratis again. And it didn't quite work out on the opening day. I watched the first half of this where it was relatively even, and then, as most people expected, Liverpool just had a little bit too much in the second half. But I watched the first 45 minutes of this, Sean, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think it would have filled Arne Slot with too much hope from that because they were on the ropes at some points in that first half. In Ipswich, they were up, but in the end, the quality shone through.
Yeah, as you know, I watched a lot of the Championship last season, especially the top 4 or 5 teams. And Ipswich sort of did what they did last year. I think they shocked Liverpool a bit the first half because I was watching it with my lad and I said, Liverpool look a bit leggy. Ipswich looked a bit sharper. Like you'd expect probably a promoted side opening game. They at them, going 100 mile an hour, chasing everything. Maybe a little bit too unorganised at times. I think Salah was left down the right a little bit too often. But you're right. I think half time, I think they were valued for their draw. But I think that was more because of over exuberance and the extra effort. I think they caught Liverpool a little bit cold. Because the second half, I think Liverpool did come out. They went for it a bit more, looked a bit sharper. We're first game of the season, the same as Ten Hag and United. We can't really judge a team, especially after the first game. Probably the first month we need to look at. If I was going to have a guess, I'd say Liverpool need 2 or 3 more players. I think they're in for is it Brantford at Everton? Apparently they're going. That won't go down very well with Evertonians, obviously. I'm not even sure they need a centre half unless Van Dijk's going. Do you know what I mean? Unless
Gomez is going, I think, isn't he? Joe Gomez is going, so
yeah, I don't know. I think most Liverpool fans and pundits want an extra midfielder. I think they're going for that one at Sociedad, but so far he's not up for it at the moment. Apparently, whether that changed or not. I didn't realise. I didn't watch them pre-season. They played Diego Jota down the middle instead of Nunes quite a lot. Whether that was partly because of the Copa America, because obviously he went to the semi-final. Did he get to the final? Uruguay? I can't remember. Whether it was that, I don't know. But Jota's been the main man down the middle so far. So yeah, I think Liverpool will be up there. I think I watched the overlap with Gary Neville and all that the other day when I was on holiday, and they couldn't actually agree what Liverpool were going to do between the 6 of them on the panel. Some of them don't think they'll be even the top 6. So we'll wait and see.
One to keep an eye on. The fixture schedule has had a bit of a chuckle when they started this off, because Ipswich have got Liverpool at home, and the next week they've got City away. So that's a start for Ipswich. It can only get easier from that point on for them. So we'll judge them come September, October time. Right, this was just one of the most obvious results of the weekend. Arsenal 2, Wolves 0. Relatively comfortable. Probably pushed them a little bit, but Arsenal won. Sean, anything to add?
More or less what you said. I think Arsenal were going to be like they have been the last 2 years. I'm not expecting much change. Whether that'll be enough again, we just don't know. But they're going to be like this game. I think they should have been 3 or 4 up within 20 minutes. It'll be the same again, especially against the lesser sides, especially at home. They're not going to struggle at home very often. They're always going to create chances. It's just whether they go in early enough. It's just whether Arteta's learned anything, and I'm not sure he's the sort of manager that does learn anything. I'm not sure when it's from, but there's a video going around with him with a light bulb or something.
With a light bulb, yeah.
Is that new, or is that from a silly old series? I don't know.
I saw that. I was like,
and then he's brought in pickpockets or something to
keep them alert.
He's just a bit mental, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Arsenal fans love him. Of course, they love him because they're like that, but. He's just odd. He's a very odd man. Do you know what I mean?
Arsenal fans love him because they're just like that. I think that's probably line of the season, and we're on game week 1. But
yeah, they'll be there again. If I was going to be pushed, I think they should win it this year. That's my honest opinion. If they're not going to win it this year, I'm not sure what else I can do. No, but their Achilles heel could be. I've said this before. I'm not convinced Arteta knows how to set up the side with an out-and-out striker. No. And you keep getting linked to all these strikers. I did read yesterday from a very reliable source. He had a meeting with Ivan Toney before the Euros, and it went disastrously wrong. So they did not like each other at all. Arsenal, we know what they are. Arteta, they'll play good football. They'll have a manager we won't be able to bear. Do you know what I mean? Will they get a lead? Will they be able to hang on? It's not going to be a lot different.
There we go. And there's Sean's completely unbiased opinion of Arsenal there. And I don't know what, I wholeheartedly agree with every word of it. I say what, Sean, you have more holidays than me. And that's going some, that is.
Yeah, that's it for now, mate. I've got none planned.
Oh.
Well, they're planned in my head, but not with the bank balance at the moment.
They're planned in your head. I love it. Right, we haven't got long, but very quickly, usual suspect says, have you got anything at York this week? I'm guessing this is horse racing. You've got about 10 seconds.
I had to Evil meeting, mate. To be honest with you, I haven't. I don't tend to follow the flat racing as much as the jump. So I do watch it every Saturday, but obviously I've been out the country for 10 days. I've had a bit of a busy, hectic month before that. I haven't had a chance to have a really good look. So no, I haven't to be honest.
There we go. We'll go to the City Ground next. Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 1. Now, this is an interesting one because obviously you've nicked there where you haven't nicked, you paid quite a lot of money for Bournemouth's striker and main man, Dom Solanke. And I watched some Bournemouth content and they were all a little bit taken aback in the build-up, and they were like, well, we don't know what's going to happen now. We haven't got Solanke. Like, they were like, I don't know what's going to happen. And they managed to salvage a point in the 87th minute or something. It's just a meh result, really, isn't it? Forest 1, Bournemouth 1, Sean.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a boring show because most of these games are going to be like, oh yeah, we expected that, same as last year, sort of thing.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is one of them results that you can see going on all through the season. Like, I don't know what Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth bought another striker. They were linked to one for about 40 million.
They have, but he's not quite here yet. I don't think he's
okay.
fit.
I can't remember who he is, but I know. Is it?
I think they paid about 40
Brazilian
for him. Something like that.
Is it the Porto striker? Is that the one?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricarlison or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Rickilson. Yeah, I rate the Bournemouth manager. So, although you might think, it's a predictable result, I do think he plays the right way. I think he's obviously linked to the Leeds job when they were struggling to stay up the year before. He did well in Spain. So, although he did land, honestly, having Solanke in the team, who probably suited his style. We'll probably get on the Tottenham in a minute. Where I'm going to tell you he suits Tottenham style and Ange style perfectly, and many things back that up. So I think it's just how they replaced Solanke, really. But I like the manager. I do like him, and they'll probably do well to finish mid-table, but I'll be amazed if they're like in any sort of bottom half struggle. But Forest probably just will. I think they'll probably be bottom 5.
Yeah. Forest will be there or thereabouts again, you feel. Michael says Pep wants to go unbeaten this season. Arteta could be moved on if they don't win something this season. It could be the now or never season for Mikel Arteta. Yeah, Danilo may have had a serious injury early on in that game, put him out for the season, which is never nice to see. Right, let's move on. Let's go to St James's Park next, where I sense an opportunity missed for another South Coast side. Newcastle 1, Southampton 0. Now, I haven't seen you talk about this on Twitter, Sean. Now, I'm intrigued to know your verdict on the sending off. Fabian Schär had a little bit of a go at Ben Breton Diaz, and he went down quite abruptly, and it was deemed violent conduct, and it was a red card. It didn't impact the result in the end because Newcastle won. They won 1-0. So Southampton played against the side with 10 men for 65 minutes and couldn't get the job done. Sean, the decision, really, that's all I want to ask you. Do you think it's a red or not?
Firstly, what triggered the push? I can't remember what triggered the push.
Did he pick the ball up for a free kick or something? I don't know, or pushed him or.
I thought the ref could have given both a yellow. That's what I honestly think. Schär was a bit dark. It was Schär, wasn't it?
Schär, yeah.
Yeah, players are usually a bit more brighter than that because you go head to head with someone, you're probably spinning the coin. It's going to be a red straight away. I didn't think he brought his head back to make it a headbutt. I thought it was more of a head push.
Yeah, it was like that, wasn't it?
I think the push was probably too much as well. Obviously, it's not as violent as a head clash. I just think because it's a bit of handbags, no one didn't really push his head forward. No one swung a punch. 2 yellows, I think, probably could have done it. It was the ref that sent him off, and the VAR agreed, wasn't it? I wonder if it was the other way around. I wonder if he'd have given both a yellow. Would have VAR
I think they'd have left it at that. I think they'd have left it with what the referee.
I think they would have. I think with VAR, they're going to back the ref sometimes. They don't want to throw him under there. But I thought 2 yellows would have been enough. But on the game, then, more importantly, I don't know if you've got the match stats in front of you. Because again, back to what I said earlier about the championship. I watched a lot of Ipswich, a lot of Saints, lots of Leicester, lots of Leeds. I think I'm right in saying the match stats are completely dominated by Southampton on shots, on possession. Is that right?
Yeah, they are. Wow, Newcastle had
very
2 shots
heavily
on goal.
So that sums Southampton up. The goal that they let in also sums Southampton up.
80% possession away from home and lost 1-0.
Yeah, they're a highly possession-based team. They don't have probably many Premier League class finisher, so they're going to miss lots of chances. But also the goal they conceded, when I say possession team, they're one of these sort of teams where the goalie will have to play it out 5 yards. And I think the goalie made a mistake for the goal. So this is Russell Martin, I believe. He's not going to change. He won't change. Southampton at one point, I thought they were going to go up automatically and had to go to Wembley in the end. I think they came fourth in the end and fizzled out. I think they had some heavy defeats. This is their problem. They will play good football. They'll play some teams and they're like, oh, wow, they're going toe-to-toe to Man City, and then they'll be 3-0 down. So that this game kind of sums them up. I think they'd have hoped for a bit better playing 10 men. But those stats, don't be surprised if they go to Old Trafford and have 60% possession. Don't be shocked, because that's how he plays, and he won't change a lot. But when you play that way and you lack many good Premier League players in possession, you're going to lose it in there. And if you lose it inside your box, we've seen it before, and everyone knows why we play out from the back football when it's like gifts sometimes, isn't it? So that I think it should have been 2 yellows. And do you know what? Sometimes they say when teams play 10 men, it makes it harder. So I just wonder if the game might have been different if they'd have had 11. You never know.
Yeah, interesting. See, there's some differing opinions in the chat of Vicious. But it should have both been sent off. They went head to head. I don't know. That assault carries 6 months outside a pub. Look, I don't think there was a great deal in it, to be honest. It was silly and it was daft from Shah. There's no doubt about that. But I agree with what Sean says, and the fact is that if he'd have given a yellow to both, VAR would have sat back. They wouldn't. I could be wrong,
but I don't think there's anything in any law book where they mention head to head. Because I don't think he sort of brought his head back to make an action.
No, it was sort of like that. It wasn't a bosh, was it? Like
no, I don't. Yeah, there's a footage. I think a fan filmed it on doing the rounds in line behind the refs, what he could see, and he's sort of jogging towards it. And yeah, like I think we both agree. If he'd have gone 2 yellows, VAR wouldn't have got involved, and it'd have just been carried on.
I can see why he gave it though. Michael says VAR has a new threshold this season, cannot get involved unless it's a blatant mistake. They want the ref to ref the game, so he gets the blame rather than VAR. Well, we saw that in the West Ham game, which we'll come on to in a little while as well. Right, let's carry on, shall we? Probably the result that shocked me. Well, not the result, the scoreline shocked me. Let's go to Goodison Park, shall we? For the final season at their old ground, they'll regret that. Everton 0. Brighton 3. Not a great start for Sean Dyche. Basically came out in his post-match and said, yeah, we were crap, basically. And Brighton, I put a question mark under them at the start of this season. I thought, I don't know where they're going to be, new manager and all that. But for the first game, there's a tick through them because they've convincingly gone away at Everton on the opening day and they've beat them, Sean.
Yeah, from what I've seen of it, it's quite a strange game for clash of tactics. I think Brighton were playing this really, really high line, probably a little bit like what my lot play. Everton couldn't they had chances but couldn't take them, and Brighton were just very good on the counter attack. Very good on the counter attack, carved them open 4 or 5 times. I did actually really like the overturn of the penalty. I thought that was a very good decision. That if VAR is going to get involved in decisions like that, and we're not just going to use it for handballs, then I thought that was a good one. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've seen them before where players have intentionally stood on players just to try and create a foul. If they see a leg there, they'll almost stand on it on purpose and then go down. I know this one wasn't like that, and he had his back to the defender, but something like that. If a defender's gone on the ground and he's not fouling anyone, and a striker backs in and stands on him, twists his ankle and goes over, I don't think that should be a penalty. So I think that was good. I think Brighton obviously was he 32, the manager?
Yeah, I
thought they'd dip off a little bit. I think they probably will. I think they've still got good players. But I'm interested in what style they're going to play, because this high line, will they try and counter-attack every team as well, breaking fast? They'll probably be an interesting watch. Yeah, so definitely.
It's, again, another team to keep an eye on. Will they be pushing for that European spot? this season. We will find out. Right. Oh, right, we've got 10 minutes, 4 games. Let's bang it out, shall we? Next, I'll do our game. I'm sure you'll have something to say as well, Sean. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2. The start of a new era. And look, there's been a lot of reactionary rubbish on social media. It wasn't the end of the world. We weren't horrendous. And there was a clear indication of what's to come. You chuck the rest of those new signings in, I think it's significantly different. Don't get me wrong, we were fortunate to be where we were come half time. Very, very fortunate. Villa had a lot of chances and could have been out of sight by the half time whistle, but we got a bit of luck. Again, we've seen the higher threshold in the VAR decisions. I know why he's given it, and I know why they haven't told him to go and overturn it. Look, there's the argument that he has a slight, minuscule touch on the ball. But at the end of the day, we found out last season, it don't matter if you touch the ball. If the follow-through takes the man out, it's been given a penalty more times than not. We found that out the hard way last season. He takes him out. In the end, I'm afraid it's clumsy. And Alan Smith can moan on commentary all he likes because he really hates West Ham. But at the end of the day, it's a penalty in this day and age, and I really was quite shocked to see so many people up in arms about it. Great penalty from Paqueta, as expected, and we had a bit of a spell where we had them rattled for sort of 20 minutes or so going through the opening stages of that second half, and then we actually brought all the signings on and it went to pot really. And look, Duran was always going to score. Scripts are written in football. We all know that. And that was quite clearly going to happen. We all said it in the lead up. We all said it when he came on and it happened. I wasn't disheartened. I was a little bit frustrated that he didn't start more of the signings. I expected Wan-Bissaka to start and I expected Todibo to start. They both didn't. Hopefully they come in. And I think there's just been a little bit of over-the-top anger, as the Moyes lovers are still out and about now, obviously going at Lopetegui because they still want Moyes to be in charge, which is mildly irritating. And at the end of the day, if we'd have gone into that game last year without Alvarez like we did, we would have fallen apart. We would have been battered. So there's progress there. We're without one of our most important players in Alvarez until a good way through next month because he's done his hamstring. So we're going to have to adapt in some way there. It's never going to be perfect at the start. We've signed so many players and we've got a new manager. But I thought it was okay. I hate zonal marking. I'm going to say that. Just mark a man, for goodness sake. There's the clip going around. You tag me in it, Sean. There's the clip going around of the marking for that. It was well worked. It was not very well thought through from our point of view. Whoever you blame, I don't care. Collectively, it was a shambles and it needs to be worked on in that sense. Right, I'm going to shut up. Sean, anything to add?
I'm going to try and be quick. On the corner, obviously, it didn't look great, but it was well worked by Villa. It's probably something they've worked on in pre-season. So you were the first ones to see it. So how can you? It's hard to plan it. I think what did surprise me, I think they were trying. They probably wasn't a foul in the corner, but they're the sort of things they're trying to look out for. Fouls in the box on corners, and 2 men did rush and be blockers straight away. It was obvious. I just want to mention a little bit the Duran sagas. I find. He's not a bad player. I found it a little bit embarrassing for West Ham, really, from start to finish. How I don't think he's worth anywhere near 40 million. No. And they've managed to push the price tag up, push it up. You've been going in for about 2 or 3 bids. And it's just, I'm surprised you'd give it so much time. And I've also read that you probably haven't even given up on it yet, even now.
We won't be signing him now. I can guarantee that. Personal guarantee.
This year, you've been at least last season saying you're probably 5 or 6 men short in the squad. Okay, so what you've done now, you've probably signed 5 or 6 and you've bulked out the squad. Now, great. I know David Moyes didn't want a big squad. However, I think the timing could backfire a little bit because, and I've seen yourself and quite a few others saying, I'll be happy with top 10. But most of the players you've signed, if not all of them, they are seasoned pros. They're not young potential. These are players that will want to get game time. So next season, if you don't get Europe next season, then players do start to get a bit of unrest. Because I know you wanted to see maybe more players start the new ones, but so Sufel, Souček, who else started the old ones? Can't remember. But they're not going anywhere. So they're here this season. So what if you don't get Europe? next season again, what do? Do you sell a couple, make the squad a bit smaller to keep players happy? It's tricky. And the new lad you bought, is it Rodriguez? Is it?
Yeah.
Rodriguez? He's not too dissimilar to Alvarez as a player, I don't think.
No.
So are you going to play them together and be a solid sort of defensive midfield in the middle, or are they going to rotate? I don't know.
I got no idea.
I just think I just think you might need to get Europe this year just to keep the ball rolling and everyone settled and everyone happy. I think if you don't, I think then you've got, like I said, you haven't signed kids. Even Somerville, who's about 22, 23, he's coming to play and he's got the track record of having a little bit of ammonia in there. So I think you need Europe this year, one way or the other, to really push on and go again. I think that's what I will say. I think you need Europe. Otherwise, the squad building's been a bit strange other than that. I would have maybe signed younger players, not 31-year-old strikers, not even necessarily internationals. You might have been best off keeping the lad that went back to Southampton. Do you know what I mean? Give him another year. So I think you need Europe.
There's been some interesting signings. I will say that, right? We've got 3 games in 2 minutes. Let's go. I will just tell you, Solanke starts for Tottenham tonight, makes his debut. Old matey boy Richarlison, he's down to the bench now. Told you, Sean, 2 years ago. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Brentford 2, Crystal Palace 1. A minor shock this weekend. I've put Palace as an outside shot for Europe this year. I think they'll be a good side. Not on the opening day, Sean, very quickly.
The main story is the Eze goal, isn't it? That's the main story. But I think Jamie Redknapp said at halftime, I think it was the referee's debut Premier League game. He maybe got a bit excited. I think the referee also apologised to Solanke, not Solanke, Eze after, didn't he? He said,
yeah, he apologised.
So you meant to let it go, but I don't know. Maybe they change the law so often. Referees are not going to get things on it. They got 2 seconds.
Keep up.
Yeah, they change it so often. But I will say, I thought the game in general reminded me very much of a championship game. Quite end to end. Sometimes the quality was really poor. Sometimes it was better, but it reminded me of an end-to-end championship match quite a bit. I thought that Brentford might dip off a bit this year. I think they probably still will. It's embarrassing. They've been embarrassing with Ivan Toney for ages. How they lauded him when he come back from his ban. I think I seen him clapped into the club's gym after the Euros for winning a header. And now he's talking to a Saudi club. So
you don't like that situation, Sean, do you?
I just think, and like I told you earlier about men having a meeting with Arteta. I just think he's a proper prat, to be honest, and how Brentford have. It's been cringy how they've been with him. They've lauded him like he's the Messiah, and
we had that like WWE entrance again at the back end of last season when they brought him back out.
I actually think he's mugged the club off and let him down, and how they act. I don't really get it, but yeah, it is one of them games. Like you said, I would probably put Palace to finish above them this year, but I don't know if Gay's going to Newcastle or not, if that's happening. I thought he actually had a poorer game, to be honest. He
they said that's sort of 5 million off the price tag.
Yeah,
5 million off the price tag.
I didn't think a lot of the game quality-wise, to be honest.
There we go. You're on fire tonight, Sean. That's another one to add to the book after the Arsenal Arteta one. Tony's just an absolute prat. Josie Neal, Manchester City team. I'll do this one so you can have a little couple of minute chat about Spurs. I didn't see it, but I'm going to say it's probably as expected. Man City had the toughest game out of the big sides by far this weekend, and they passed through as most expected. It wasn't a battering, but it wasn't it was comfortable, I should think, for them. Haaland, I think, was it 3 touches or something ridiculous, or 3 passes, something ridiculous like that, but he put the ball in the back of the net. And your Man City side, when you look left, you look right, you look behind, and look at all the quality there. It doesn't particularly matter if you do your job and put the ball in the net. And a good goal from Kovacic as well, really good goal to finish things off against his former club. Chelsea have got more goalkeepers than West Ham have in the entire squad. They've got about 150 players. Todd Bowley went wandering off after the hour. He'd seen enough. He left. Chelsea's a rotten mess. We spoke about that so much last season. And I just think that there's big problems at that club, and the amount of players they have and the financial difficulties that they may face will be too much in the end. Man City, I hope they go and they win it again, because obviously don't want Arsenal to win it. So hopefully they go 5 in a row, and they've started off on the right foot in a potential for the first game of the season banana skin, which didn't materialise in the end. That was the Super Sunday, and now the Monday night football. Right, Leicester Spurs. Whenever I think of Leicester Spurs, I think of the 15-16 title race. I don't know why. And that sort of goal where you scored 2 in the last minute at Leicester, and it was all mental and you beat them. But anyway, Sean, very quickly, Leicester Spurs tonight.
There's been a few chaotic games between the two clubs, a bit like that one a couple of years ago. Obviously, first game. I'll cover Spurs a bit first. I'm quite happy with the signings we've made. We're clearly going down a path of signing ones for the future, but who can also do a job now. So when we've signed ones for the future, but what I see is high-end ones. Last week we signed Odegaard from Burnley. He's very highly rated.
Dan said he was quite good. I saw that.
Yeah, he's very, very, very good. I think he's probably our most dangerous player last year. But the two that I don't expect to start, and I expect to both be subs, probably come on tonight. The 2 stars I think we're really going to get is Archie Gray. I think that was it's 40 million. I think that proved to be a cheap signing. He's been, when I followed Leeds a little bit the last couple of years, he's been so highly rated for all around Europe. He is going to be that good. But we signed a player in January, but we didn't complete the transfer until July the 1st. So Lucas Bergvall. Now, he'd come with a lot of YouTube videos attached to what he could do. In pre-season, I just love the way he plays. He's very much, I wouldn't say a De Bruyne type, but on the half turn, looking for it, fancy flicks, balls around the back. So players like those two, I'm really looking forward to see how they develop during the season. I think as the season goes on, they'll get more and more minutes. He's not in the squad tonight, I don't think, but Mikey Moore is classed as the most talented under 20 players in the country. Just signed a massive first contract. He's staying with the first team this year. We've got others in there as well. And then we signed Dom Solanke. Whatever you think of Solanke as a footballer, whether you think he's better than so-and-so, not as good as so-and-so, Tottenham, like a lot of clubs, follow a lot of data when they buy a player. And there's so much data for footballers now, trackers, where they stand, what they do, where they score, where they miss, how they press, whether they win the ball in the press. I think he's the second best with data out of every striker in Europe for Tottenham to go for. So,
okay.
So it's no doubt at all, and it's been widely said, and Andy said it himself, he was his number 1 target as a striker. He said he was a handful against us. So if you follow the data, which we've probably got to nowadays, because a lot of clubs just buy off of it. They won't even send a scout to watch the player a lot of the time. And there's some good places to watch videos on YouTube now. Very good sites. He should score. And also, you should have mentioned Richarlison. He might have been on the bench tonight anyway, but his downfall has been not in missing chances or being poor. He can't stay injury-free. And the main reason he's on the bench tonight is because he hasn't played a minute in pre-season. He's been training a week. That's the main reason he's on the bench.
Will he be sold now, you like to think, Richarlison? Are they going to keep him? Does he want to be number 2?
He will stay at least till January. Then that is because Tottenham were listening to offers for him, and they had 3 Saudi clubs in for him, willing to pay the price tag they wanted for him, which was 60 million, which is what we paid for him. So there's 3 Saudi clubs, because to buy players over there, they've got to go down a different route. I think they've got to apply to the league or something stupid. There's 3 lined up to go, and he openly put on social media, this is his home, and all the right sort of social media channels said he just wants to stay. He wants to fight for a spot. We probably need another central striker, because I don't think that's Son's best position. But Solanke, you look at it, he's barely had an injury in about 5 seasons. So he ticks the boxes. He stays injury free. Probably get injured tonight. Now I've said that.
Prediction, Sean?
We will create a lot of tap-ins for him, so he will get chances. So let's see. Keep an eye. All says keep an eye on Bergvall and Archie Gray, because I genuinely think they're going to be superstars in this country. They're only 18, so don't think I mean like in the next month, but I think they're genuinely going to be up there with some of the best players in the league within 18 months, 2 years.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed, Sean. As always, we kicked off the new season. Let's just take some of those final comments. 5-0 Leicester, Vardy hat-trick incoming. Jamie Vardy is captaining a side in the Premier League in 2024. Things we love to see. Leicester 1, Tottenham 5, says Ronnie. Solanke 3, Son 2, 3-1 to Spurs. Our Spurs going to be a bit wobbly. We're about to find out. Harder 91 goals and 100. It's unreal. It is absolutely unreal. Right, we'll leave it there. Thanks everybody for your input in the chat tonight. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to West Ham Unofficial. Enjoy the game, Sean. Not too much, because it would be quite funny to see an opening weekend slip up, wouldn't it?
No, yeah, I'd be disappointed if we don't win. I'd go for 3-1 for us.
Sean's going 3-1. I'm going to say 2-1 to Spurs. I think you'll win. But there we go. Thanks for watching. We will see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Bye bye.
Yeah,
cheers, Sean.